Well, a lot of people were wondering how I did unbreakable contracts, especially this cute girl. And I said, well, the contracts are actually broken all the time, somewhat. And usually I just do mediation and other things, which basically, realistically, I have to mediate for parties anyway. Normally, just because I was a creator of so many races, there's so many life form types and they knew it, I would be like, okay, well, that's unfair for you, and okay, and this is more fair for you, and blah blah. And I basically just provided mediation service between, usually the contracts were between like one group and another group, and it's like, you stole our sheep and we have a contract. So anyway, whatever. Anyway, it's like that. It was stupid stuff, really, mostly. So realistically, it was just like, well, all right, well, go ahead and do this anyway, whatever. Anyway, though, it was a long time ago, and it was a little more involved than that. I had some other ways of doing stuff. So anyway, and like I said, that service is no longer offered. Someone asked, I said, well, it was a long time ago, and that service is no longer offered. And it was just for a few things that I really had to have done, and it was mostly for me, realistically. But I did provide the service to a few other people. But anyway, but the service was being abused, and so I discontinued it. So because I'm the superstar, so that service was no longer offered. So anyway, by the time she asked, I was like, well, the service is no longer offered. So I guess she wanted to use that contract or something like that, and I was like, well, I don't do it anymore, but I used to do it. So anyway, it's thousands or billions or trillions of years ago. Anyway, whatever. So it's over with. So anyway, but yeah, I did have unbreakable contracts, and I did have a way of dealing with it, making them truly unbreakable. And besides, it was also the fact that I was the creator of so many races and so many life form types that I was like, well, anyway, it was hundreds of trillions of years ago. So anyway, long since over. So anyway, and so anyway, a lot of the things, it's like, well, I did do that, and I did offer that, and people were paid a lot of money, and they would do what I asked, or they would be tortured mercilessly and hunted down, and or I'd have to do mediation and pay the plaintiff or whatever party, whatever. I did this service. So anyway, though, most people didn't mind my contracts and didn't even know that they were unbreakable, or that they would be hunted down and tortured if they didn't do it. So, and mostly it was pretty much. And besides, once word got out who I was, basically it was like, well, I didn't really have to worry about anything, because it's like, yeah, he's really your creator. It's like, yep, I really am. And I had verifiable facts of that. And there's other planets that would verify the fact that I was the creator of exoskeletons, endoskeletons, and quite a few other life form types, and from very long ago. So, anyway, and many planets had known my LSF ship. Although most people didn't know that there was a spaceship, and they're like, well, we've heard that there's a spaceship involved. Which one is it? It's like, well, I had lots of them. The LSF, I believe, was one of my spaceships. Colony ship, actually, with landing craft. That were made from depleted uranium. And not probably from Earth. Probably from somewhere else. I'm not exactly sure where they're from. It takes a while for uranium to truly get depleted enough to be used. But then again, space is rather radioactive anyway. So lots of very complicated things. Doesn't really matter. So anyway. So lots of stuff would happen, and over my lifetime, my long existence, lots of stuff did happen. So anyway, and pretty much nowadays, I'm just basically an old goat that has lived for too long. Most people would be like, you've lived too long. But, well, yeah, I guess. It's just that most of my life forms found out exactly that I had created them. Like I said, I left signposts and records. Like there's some signposts that are made from depleted uranium or titanium or something that is very indestructible and will not age or degrade over the years. And basically leaving a record of who I was and what I was and when I came and when I left. And that's another thing is star dates. Like that was one thing. It's like star date, but when does the date start? Because most dates are based on based on the decay of radiation. So which decays rather uniformly, I think. So like how many years have really passed? It's like, well, you can look at my space clock. What space clock? It's like the one we're riding on. uh, Milky Way is one half, and then there's one other half that is being attracted toward us because it's negatively charged particles. So, which tells me that it's been 100 trillion years. Somebody thought that I only put them 600 billion years apart, and it's like, well, no, that's not very far, and they would get here rather quickly. Not to mention the amount of mass that the Milky Way has amassed over the years. It's so huge that it's definitely been at least 100 trillion years, and this is 100 trillion years of matter creation. So, anyway, yeah, and I did that on purpose because anyway, and it would take a long time before they start to really get moving towards each other. So, but it just seems like forever because it's so far away. So, anyway, whatever. Somebody was gonna put me on something. Anyway, lots of lies, lots of false people running around saying that they're Lucifer Star or creator of humanity or creator of the galaxy. It's like no. My existence was much more physical. I use stars, like that one, that's burning in the sky right now. It's a big fusion reactor. So, anyway, using your radiation and different radiations to work, and also the planets around it also keep it hot. So, magnetics plus fusion reaction. I think you need to have something massive orbiting it for the matter creation to actually start. Otherwise, it's just a fusion reaction. So, anyway, though, but in order to really get the particles to create, basically the planets have to be spinning around it pretty much, and then that magnetic energy or something like that is transformed into matter, and it kind of matters. So, or metal. So, like I said, this began as a light particle 100 trillion years ago, or a particle that was given off by that very sun up there, the very star up there. So those particles go out to space, and gets attracted back onto either the sun or one of the planets that's orbiting us, and it goes. If it goes to the sun, then I think it gets burned up or something like that, or it just gets turned back into fuel or something. Anyway, whatever. If it lands on one of the planets, though, it goes, and eventually over time it goes, or something like that. So, anyway, something like that. That's how matter is created in the galaxy. Anyway, another thing is a lot of people were trying to suppress that fact because of the fact that that they're trying to say there's not enough suns. I mean, there's not enough stars in the sky. There's not enough retards. We're going to run out. It's like, what are you talking about? There's just going to be more and more matter throughout the galaxy forever and ever 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 and ever. It's always going to be more metal. It's created inside the depths of the earth and comes up and goes up into the plate. And you can mine it. The earth creates matter, or you can just get a big pot and get it up to about 100,000 degrees or 150,000 degrees or whatever, and then you can do it yourself much quicker, and you can make all the metal you want. That's just what the planet's doing. I mean, for 1,000,000 degrees, some things take 1,000,000 degrees. It depends, but anyway, whatever. So anyway, you can rearrange. I mean, particle. It takes magnetics and heat and stuff like that, and you can get all the metal you want. There's processes. So anyway, I don't really care, but I used to do it for a living. So anyway, yeah, whatever. No one will probably ever watch any of these videos, but that's how everything is created. So anyway, a lot of other people that want to be rich or whatever, it's like, well, there's tons of metal in the world, in the universe. There's just going to be more and more and more. So anyway, going on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Einstein was trying to say that you cannot create or destroy matter or energy. It's like, yeah, you can. Matter is created and destroyed all the time. So, anyway, whatever.